Okay, so it's that time of the year again where I talk about my favorite 20 songs that I've reacted to throughout the year, and this year being 2024. It's wild that it's already done, and it's wild that Christmas has already passed and the holiday season is pretty much over. But anyway, let's get into this. I do have a lot of honorable mentions, I will say. I took this a lot more seriously this year, I would say, as well, because I actually had a playlist that I would save my favorite reactions to, and that helped a lot. That was the first time I did that, and I don't know why it took me this long to do that, because I've done this kind of a video the last few years. And also, I have to say, it feels weird not wearing headphones and not doing a reaction. I can hear my voice clearly, and I don't like it. But anyway, here are my honorable mentions. There's 44, 45 of them. Again, that's a lot, but I reacted to a lot of songs and a lot of good songs. So anyway, let's get into them. I'm not going to go through in depth on these songs here. I just want to name them because I'm going to go through in depth on the 20 songs, and that's going to take enough time right there. So anyway, Morrissey, Art Hounds, Yusuf or Cat Stevens, Father and Son, Sweet, Blockbuster, ELO, Mr. Blue Sky, Alice in Chains, Don't Follow, Sublime, Bad Fish, The Teardrop Explodes, Reward, Pretenders, Back on the Chain Gang, Morrissey, Smiler with Knife, Morrissey, Whatever Happens, I Love You, noticing a trend there, Tom Waits, Looking for the Heartbeat of Saturday Night, Daryl Hall and John Oates, Out of Touch, Jim Croce, I Got a Name, Keen, Bend and Break, Pink Floyd, Brain Damage / Eclipse, Joan Baez, Diamonds and Rust, Björk, Human Behavior, Kate Bush, The Man with a Child in His Eyes, my goodness, Harry Chapin, Taxi, The Police, Walking on the Moon, T-Rex, Children of the Revolution, Dead Kennedys, Pull My Strings, Ian Jury, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, The Specials, A Message to You, Rudy, The Guess Who, These Eyes, The Hives, Main Offender, The Associates, 18 Karat Love Affair, Soft Cell, Sex Dwarf, another great title again, Fun Young Cannibals, She Drives Me Crazy, Susie and the Banshees, Hong Kong Garden, The Motors, Airport, XTC, No Thugs in Our House, The Stranglers, Nice and Sleazy, Bad Manners, Lip Up Fatty, Peter Gabriel featuring Kate Bush, Don't Give Up, Jeff Buckley, Lover You Should Have Come Over, Yes, Awaken, Harpo, Movie Star, Pulp, Like a Friend, Cocteau Twins, Cherry Colored Funk, The Prodigy, Breathe, Rod Stewart, The Killing of Georgie, Part 1 and Part 2, and Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, The Mercy Seat. So there you go. Again, I apologize if one of those songs you like a lot and I did not put it in the top 20. I did. But either way, this comes down to me. This comes down to what I like the most and what I kept coming back to, what I listened to the most in the car. So anyway, I guess with all that said, let's get to number 20. What the hell? Let's get into it. So Husker Du, Don't Want to Know If You Were Lonely at number 20. I had to put that in there. I have to say Pencil Skirt by Pulp was very close to getting at number 20. But I went with Husker Du. And I do have some notes over here too, so I will be reading a bit because I want to have something to look at here. Anyway, with their so I've talked about of course this band was very influential, or so I've been told anyway, very influential in pop punk, and you can just hear that in their sound. I feel like you can hear that in Grant Hart's voice, his passionate vocals, you would say on this track too. And as I put here too, it was released in 1986, and I know that Green Day covered it at one point, and that they're big fans of Husker Du. But anyway, I always like when a drummer sings lead, again, with this drummer being Grant Hart, and as I said, he sings with a lot of passion, a lot of feeling. You can feel the desperation in his voice. You can feel the desperation and just how frantic and fast everything is, and how thunderous Grant plays as well. And of course, just to talk about the song a bit, it's about a relationship pretty much gone sour. And it's a relationship where it sounds like he wants to know that this woman, I would say, is okay, but that's about it. He doesn't want to go any further. He doesn't want to get those feelings again for her. And I don't know. Again, you can just feel the desperation and the passion, and just you kind of feel bad for this guy. And anyway, they convey their thoughts very well. So anyway, I had to put Husker Du, Don't Want to Know If You Were Lonely at number 20 there. Great band, and again, rest in peace at Grant Hart. It's been like 10 years now, I do believe, but. Anyway, number 19, In Excess, Need You Tonight. Now, this was the last song to make the list, as it was the one of the most recent reactions I've done. But I had to put this on. Again, I did say in the reaction, the melody, I do believe I said, was kind of familiar, but none of the words were at all, which again is very weird to me. But I've just heard that melody before. Again, I'm sure it was used in movies or TV shows or games, whatever it was. But either way, I feel like this song, in a way, perfectly captures and encapsulates the band. It's sexy, it's hot, it's steamy, it's bouncy, it's funky. I mean, my God, the guitars on this track are just great as well. The bass line is funky, like I was talking about there too. But just, it's all, it's very fun, I would say too. The slashes of guitars, as I would put it too, is just so good. And of course, Michael Hutchence. I mean, you talk about how hot and steamy the song is. I mean, he encapsulates that too. All, in spades. I mean, my God, it's passionate as hell. I mean, it's basically, I guess you would say, about a booty call. And I mean, I've never really been in that position, for a booty call, whatever. But he was going all out on this one. I feel like Michael Hutchence in particular, and I do have to say in the video too, he was obviously the focal point. He was the eye candy of the band, you would say. And I just like how he kept popping in and out of in the video. And anyway, the use of black and white, the video was very well done as well. I thought got the point home. And I mean, yeah, it was a hot song. It was catchy as all get out. And that's why it's at number 19. That's why it had to be on this list. And again, like I said, I want to move this down just a little bit. But like I said, I feel like it's one of their signature tracks. And I don't know why I never heard it until then. But anyway, there it is, In Excess Need You Tonight at number 19. Number 18, Tracy Chapman and Fast Car. Now, I feel kind of dumb to put, and it might be criminal to have the song at 18, kind of low, I guess you would say. But, this is a song that I feel like everyone knows, and I feel like it's a song many people have covered. I do know, I'm not really into country, but I do know a country artist. I can't remember his name now. My God, covered the song and it got even bigger again. It was Tracy Chapman's debut single, I believe, from 1988. I want to say, which is just nuts. It's insane that this was her debut single, and obviously it's a sad story, and a true story, a relatable story. Or maybe, I don't know if I get to say true, but it's a true story for many people, of course. Like I was going to say, it's relatable for many people. And just talking about change here, talking about a chance at change. I like how it starts out kind of quiet, and it does build to kind of a crescendo. And so I just like that, I guess, the use of, it being low key, and then again, it getting faster and faster at parts. And, there's a great build up to it all. And of course, I would say it's in the vein of folk rock. It's kind of subtle in that way too, but like I said, it does build up, and it's just so emotional, and just so, again, truthful, and just so honest. And you feel for Tracy, and you feel for these people who live in poverty, would say, who you feel for these people that she's talking about. And talking about her father, I do believe, and again, I say her father, I don't know if I forget if it was a true story or not, but just in the song anyway. And again, just wanting that change. By the end of it, she's, just as lonely as she was when she started, really. I mean, my goodness. But anyway, I had to put Tracy Chapman's Fast Car here. I believe when I did the reaction, I even said this has to be in the top 20. It's just, again, I know it's so big and people know it, but I didn't know it. And I finally listened to it, and I see the brilliance of it, of course. And again, just it triggers you, gets you right in your heartstrings, as they say. So anyway, there it is. Tracy Chapman, Fast Car at 18. Number 17, Carpenters, We've Only Just Begun. Again, I know that the Carpenters, they've become one of my favorite bands to react to. And as I wrote here too, just to remind myself, it started out, I do believe, as a commercial for a bank, an ad for a bank. And of course, Karen and Richard, I want to say Richard Carpenter, did not write the song. They just came in and covered it later on. This was for a commercial for a bank, like I said. But I guess the bank, or the people with the ad, they wanted it to be memorable. And I would say it was. I forget the man who, I believe the man's name was Paul, who wrote the lyrics, one of the men anyway, and one of the guys anyway who wrote the lyrics. And again, it's pretty, you would say it's kind of simple. A song about marriage here, a song about the beauty of marriage and the light of marriage. Again, that's not always true for every marriage or whatever, but either way, that's what it's all about here. Just the elegance of getting married, and the elegance of a beautiful relationship, you might say, and just how beautiful all of that is, and how pretty it can be. And you talk about beautiful and pretty, of course, Karen's clear vocals, encapsulate that all the way as well. I like how you can hear every little noise, and I don't know why I remember this stuff, or I remember hearing it, but just even before Karen sang, you could hear her opening her mouth. I guess you could hear her lips or whatever, and you knew she was coming in. I don't know, just the little sounds, and I just really appreciate that. And yeah, just Karen Carpenter had one of the greatest voices I've ever heard. You would even say, some people say greatest female singers of all time, but I'll, not even just talking about female singers, just one of the greatest singers I've ever heard. And of all time. And of course, like I said too, it's a simple song about marriage, but it's so upbeat, it's so pretty, with lush orchestration. Gotta look at these notes to remember everything I wanted to say. A lot of hope. And also I wanted to say, it reminds me of the band's beginnings and how they were very hopeful. And again, they were rightfully hopeful, because they had a lot of success. And of course, Karen's decline came fast and abruptly, you would say, and very sadly, tragically, she passed. But anyway, so it reminds me of their beginning too, and how much hope they had, and they were right to have hope, like I said, because they did enjoy success before Karen's early death. But anyway, there it is, number 17 Carpenters, and we've only just begun. And again, I just love her clarity on the vocals there. It's just beautiful. Anyway, Julian Cope, Safe Surfer. Now, I remember when I did this song, I believe even in the title of the reaction I put, this is one of the greatest songs I've ever reacted to, or something like that. But it did go down to number 16, I do have to say, because I did react to a lot of great music anyway, I guess. But I knew this had to be on the list. It was so different and so, I would almost say it's kind of weird. I mean, and as I put it here too, I took a chance on the song. I've never heard of Julian Cope. And the song exceeded my expectations. It's emotional, doesn't feel like 8 minutes. The intense guitar, it's just, it's just, I don't know, it captures you. Julian seems to be a guitar virtuoso, if you want to say that much too. He's just a great guitarist, I would say. His vocals sort of remind me of Nick Cave in a way. I talk about Nick Cave. He's in the, he was one of the honorable mentions, and yeah. Julian's voice, again, I don't remember if I said that in a reaction. I probably did, but it did remind me a bit of Nick Cave's Conviction, just a kind of a baritone voice, I would say. Anyway, the piano is commanding too. The atmosphere is unlike anything I've heard. Some introspective lyrics and a reassuring chorus about, and again, the lyrics are too, because I remember talking about the song and somebody's, some comments I do believe said, kind of, I believe corrected me on what the song is about. Again, because the lyrics are very kind of nonsensical in a way. I would say there is a meaning to them, but either way, at the end of the day, I just feel like we're talking about navigating life or something like that, as I put, about navigating life, I believe. But either way, I feel like the whole song is just all about feel. It's all about what you feel, what you get out of just the sound that Julian is creating, again, through his guitar, through the piano, and it's just, again, it just overtakes you. It's just such a banger, to put it like that. Again, the reference to Donkey Kong at one point, and again, the way he says it with so much conviction, it's so good. And again, it reminds me of Nick, but and maybe that's why I like it even more. But yeah, Julian Cope and Safe Surfer, just one of the most unexpected bangers I came across this year. So thanks to whoever suggested that, because I wouldn't have known about that song ever if I didn't have the channel, I would say. Anyway, number 15, we have The Fall and Wings. Now, this song, I have to say, this is a song that I've played in the car a lot. This is a song that I like to imitate a lot. I just love the way he says wings. I just love the way he says, and I say he, Mark E. Smith, how he exaggerates his words, how he is just so, he sounds so sleazy as well. His swagger, like I said, he exaggerates every word almost. Wings. Just, there's an at the end of every word almost, and it's just, again, he just seems so pissed off and angry for I don't know what, but I just love it so much. And again, the lyrics, I would even say too, are a bit unconventional. They're a bit different as well, talking about wings, talking about flabby wings and flying around. I forget the whole concept now, but that's not what this whole thing's about, is me rehashing every reaction I've done. But either way, again, unconventional lyrics, I would say, but I just love it so much. And as I put here, relentless track with a pounding bass, constant gritty guitar, non-stop drums, and again, just his attitude. His attitude is really what takes it over for me. And this is just raw, and it's so honest, and it's just so, I guess raw is the perfect word for it. It's so real too. There's nothing fake about Mark E. Smith, I would say. Yeah, he was not fake at all, and he told you like it was. That's one thing I really think people have told me that I remember. He just seemed like such a a guy you wouldn't want to cross. And again, I loved his vocals. Like I said, it's just so different, and I just love it so much. I love his pissed off, his pissiness, I would say. So there you go. Had to have Wings in there from The Fall. And again, The Fall, great band. I got to react to more of them in 2025. Good Lord. So anyway, number 14 now, Big Country, Field of Fire, 400 miles. My goodness gracious. What are the Fields of Fire? Maybe I got it wrong. Either way, but yes, Big Country. So another banger from their debut album from 1983, I want to say. The Crossing. This song, just as I put here, a chugging sound, a big sound, which I always expect from Big Country, a big sound. Maybe it's just I associate a big sound because they're called Big Country, but either way, it's just so bold, so powerful, so fun. The drumming here from Mark Brzezicki, and Mark, I do believe is his first name. Now I'm going all blank and everything, but Brzezicki, either way on drums here, is just, again, I love his drum fills. I love how fun it sounds, how big he sounds as well. Everyone sounds so big. Stuart Adamson sings with such conviction and power too. And talking about kind of what the song's about with resilience and the power of love, if you want to talk about Huey Lewis and the News in that way. But either way, yeah, just the power of love, and like I said, just another great one from their debut album. And I got to do more of them in 2025. Maybe do more that aren't from the debut album, but that debut album is just so good. I can't get away from it. But either way, we move on to number 13 with The Sundays in Summertime. Now, when I was going through this, I'll admit, when I was listening to the song, I had the headphones on, and I'm trying to make sure my list is right. And I got a tear in my eye because of Harriet Wheeler. Her voice, especially in this chorus, is just so good. I would say her passion is unlike any other I've really heard. And as I put here, Harriet's voice makes me sob. And I don't know why, I guess that comes across. I don't know if I was in my feels that night that I was doing this or what, but either way, it was just glorious, and I just love her voice so much. And I'm talking about what the song's kind of about, I guess, just to remind, me, I'm talking about trying to find romance in perhaps the wrong places. It says that Harriet Wheeler and Gavarin, I forget his first name, but I put Gavarin anyway, wrote it about their friends who would try to find love through other means that were not face-to-face. So, and it is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek song, but even with tongue-in-cheek, again, Harriet's voice is just so gorgeous and just so grabbing, and it's just so nuts in that way. And again, as somebody who, my favorite season is summer, so you talk about the summertime, the song just makes me think about summer, a nice summer day, a sunny afternoon, and I just love that so much. And maybe with it being wintertime, especially with me in Canada, we have some bad winters, but I guess maybe not this year, but either way, I miss summer, and I'm always happy when it comes back around, so maybe that's why it made me so sad. But either way, great bass line, as I mentioned here. The guitar work helps the song overall with its beauty. Great laid-back video too. And again, I remember the simple video of them just sitting around and then standing up when Harriet had to get in there and sing. And I liked it a lot. So there you go, The Sundays in Summertime. Just such a feeling, such a passion. And again, Harriet Wheeler is one of the greatest vocalists I've come across. I talk about Karen Carpenter, but yes, Harriet Wheeler is in that same wheelhouse for me. And then we go on number 12, Soft Cell, Say Hello, Wave Goodbye. Here, I thought I heard the washer going. I don't know what that noise is. Anyway, but yeah, Soft Cell, Say Hello, Wave Goodbye, messing me up with that number 12 here. So, this was, I believe, one of the first songs I reacted to last year. It was almost a year ago as this video comes out anyway when I put this up. But yeah, Say Hello, Wave Goodbye. I only knew about Tainted Love from Soft Cell, so I didn't really know what to expect. But this is such a quiet, low-key, sassy song, and of course a goodbye song, I would say too. And you want to talk about unconventional lyrics, I could talk about with Wings. We're talking, I do believe, about a lady of the night here, a prostitute and a man. Just different, different viewpoints in that way. And I love Mark Allman's singing, I would say, at points in the song. It makes it feel even more personal in that way. But he does reach great vocal heights near the end of the track, especially. And again, I just love how clear and clean his voice is. And that's really something that immediately comes across when he starts to sing. And again, it's just so low key and so, I guess I'm repeating myself, but yeah, his voice is so soft and light, and I just like that so much. But anyway, voice very clean and clear too. It's a nice piece of synth pop. There you go. And I can't remember, this was from either the late 70s or early 80s, but just in that same vein as the time, it fit the time so well. And Soft Cell were a great duo at that point too. So anyway, I really enjoyed that song, and that's why it's at number 12. So then we go on to around the same time too, number 11, Gary Newman and M.E. or Me, however you want to say it. So this is, of course, from Gary Newman's, I want to say his debut or whatever it was, one of his first albums anyway. But it's another banger from this era for him. It has that quintessential Gary Newman sound, I would say, with those heavy synths. And actually, this morning, a YouTube video was recommended to me, so I watched it, and Gary was talking about how he was never musically trained. He always just kind of learned by ear, and he never wants to be musically trained, he said, because then at that point he said something like he would know what to do with a song. I don't know, he likes to be curious. He likes to not know what he's doing in a way. And I mean, yeah, more power to him, because especially, again, I haven't really listened to much stuff other than the early stuff, but that early stuff is just fantastic in the way it sounds. And again, like I said, those heavy synths, when it's a Gary Newman song, that's kind of become his trademark, I would say, at least at this point in his career. As I go on, I enjoy his abrupt vocals and how they seem to just escape his mouth. Again, he's so abrupt. His cadence is so distinctive too. I just love myself some Gary Newman. Talking about what the song is about, and I guess he had a quote as well, talking about how this song is about the last living machine on Earth, my God, which perfectly fits Gary's character. Obviously, it has a lot to do with loneliness, And also, I wanted to say, I was on Instagram maybe a month ago now, but one of my friends shared, their Spotify, what they listen to, whatever, and they had Gary Newman in this song, and I said, oh, that's very nice. It's nice to know that I guess one of my friends listens to this too. Because I love the song a lot, and I love Gary Newman a lot. So I know a lot of people listen to him. I know a lot of people know about Gary Newman, but it's just nice when a friend shares it, I guess, and it's just like, oh, he knows about him too. Let me talk to him. Anyway, and then we go on to number 10, Super Drag and Sucked Out. Now you might be saying, who the hell is that? What is that? Because this video didn't do very well, and I know the song. This is a one-hit wonder, I guess you would call them. I hate calling bands one-hit wonders, but I guess that's what it is anyway. But I don't know. I heard about this song, and I said, let me listen to it. What the hell? I had the channel, and here it is at number 10. As wise as I put it, in a world of post-grunge in 1996, this was honest and melodic as heck. We go on. I love the use of the quiet to loud sound. Again, a sound that I believe many other bands did it too, but Nirvana kind of exemplified that sound, going from quiet to just booming. Terrific bass work. John Davis's guttural raw vocals steal the show. Again, that chorus, who sucked out the feeling. It's just, holy shit. It's just, again, this is a song I listen to a lot in the car. It's a song, talking about desperation, talking about futility here. It's just, it just takes you away, man. And it just takes you away, man. But, yeah, I don't know, so relatable in that way, too. If you just feel down or you just feel out or you feel, I guess, out of place in a way. I don't know, and you listen to this and just get you going and get your heart pumping anyway. But I also wanted to mention this, too, because I want to get this right. It was the band's debut single, and it was their only hit, which is fitting with what the song's about. Of course, it being about the abusive parts of the music industry. And I have read as well, people who wrote about Superdrag, that they didn't really have a bad relationship with the music industry before putting the song out. And then after that, and there was problems in the band too, I do believe, the kind of John, and I forget the other people in the band, I apologize, but they kind of had a rift, and they kind of ended, soon after they kind of began. And this was, again, their only hit, and the only maybe song they're really remembered for. But either way, again, it's kind of fitting in that way with what the song's about. And anyway, who sucked out the feeling? Lots of people are to blame, I guess you would say. But either way, and as I said here too, maybe not the most well-known song on the list, but I don't care. I like it a lot, and it's just a banger. My goodness. Anyway, we go on to number 9. We're in the top 9 here now. My goodness. So number 9, and my dog is snoring over there too now, so I apologize if you can hear that. But number 9, Nick Drake, Northern Sky. Whenever I do a Nick Drake song, he's gonna appear on the list. I think I try to do 2 from an artist every year, because I don't want to do too many of one artist. But either way, he's always gonna, I feel like, gonna be on the list. So here we are. This has to be one of Nick's most upbeat and hopeful songs. My goodness, it's quiet, serene, and has a certain twinkle to it. The piano is joyful, the lyrics are beautiful. Nick's controlled husky vocals put it over the top, like many other songs he does. Just that husk, just that. And there's a way, you can't understand every word he's saying, in a way, I would say, because his voice is just so heavy, and and he was a big man, so maybe that's what it has to do with it. He just has a heavier voice, and he does have he can have a baritone at points, but again, he had a great range because he could go to a higher register as well. And now we go on to number 8, and it's a guy where I feel like I could say the same things that I said about Nick Drake with this guy. Jim Croce, an operator, That's Not the Way It Feels. Another guy, a great acoustic guitar player. Otherwise than maybe Nick Drake at this point, and no one can make an acoustic guitar cry like Jim Croce in a way. A great storyteller with maybe even a greater mustache, I would say. Of course, talking about here a tragic and real tale about people in service who try to call home. If you want to put it as that simple there. But anyway, and of course, this one obviously talks about a guy who wants to talk to his former girlfriend, but soon realizes he's not over her or his ex-best friend, who now seems to be with her. Jim just conjures up so much emotion. He just, I don't know, it's so heartbreaking. It just pulls at your heartstrings, as I say again. A lyric like, you can keep the dime, when Jim talks to the operator. Again, that's the title of the song. But when he realizes, and he's talking to the operator, that, yeah, he's not as confident, or he's not over this girl like he thought. It's just, again, it's so sad, and it's tragic, and you just feel for this guy. And again, the way Jim's voice breaks, I would say, at that you can keep the dime point, when his voice goes a little bit lighter. It's just, it just hits so home, and again, it's so emotional, and it's so real, because there's, again, so many people in the service, as I think Jim said once, because he was in the service, I believe, there was lines of people waiting to call home when they got the chance, and this kind of a story existed. And anyway, yeah, Jim Croce, operator, That's Not the Way It Feels, at number 8. Jim Croce had to be in here. He's always, whatever I react to, he's probably going to be in the top 20 at the end of the year. And then we have number 7, And this song, I mean, my goodness, one of the most disturbing songs I listened to throughout the year. PJ Harvey and Down by the Water. I underrate PJ Harvey. I don't know if I did just this one or maybe I did another one during the year, reaction from her, but I need to do more anyway in 2025. But yeah, like I said, one of the most disturbing and dark tales, as I put it here. PJ takes on this disturbing tale about a mother drowning her daughter. She takes it on very well. It's a great part for her. And just to talk about how the song starts off, I do believe she starts off with the song with a cappella in a way, but then that gigantic booming synth organ just comes in and just, you know, hits you like a ton of bricks, especially with the headphones on. It's just the vibration you get. It's just nuts. And, you know, that overtakes everything. And as I said, you know, the start just hits you like a ton of bricks. Lush strings as well. And I feel like she was kind of experimenting on this track because this was kind of a departure from her usual sound. I do believe her earlier sound anyway. As I said, the lyrics, again, are disturbing. They're dark and ugly. She keeps you on edge the whole time. And to talk about the lyrics, the point where she talks about the little fish, big fish, that part there, which again kind of reminds me of Dr. Seuss, because I believe the Dr. Seuss book is red fish, blue fish, whatever the hell it was. But either way, that part there, again, so dark and disturbing. And the way she whispers that, and you can hear her lip smacking in a way, it's just so different. And again, it's kind of scary, but at the same time, as I put here, it's kind of addicting though to listen to. It's so catchy, and it's so again, just unlike anything I've ever really heard, and I guess that's why, again, I need to listen to more PJ Harvey into 2025 as I wet my whistle. Anyway, we have a number 6, Squeeze, Another Nail in My Heart. Now, this is a song that raced up my charts here. It's a song that I kind of forgot about, a video that I did that I kind of forgot about until I was going to do this video, and I was reminded, oh, right, that song. It's a song I've listened to over and over recently. As again, I was putting this list together. It's a song that's so catchy. It's been in my head. I've listened to it in the car. It's just, I don't know. There's something so brilliant about it. Obviously, it's so simple. I believe, you know, it's like 3 minutes long, whatever it was, but it's so, again, catchy, emotional. Glenn Tilbrook just shines on it with his vocals, smooth, clear, emotional, as I said. And as I said too, I love his emphasis on words like bar, found, and heart, again in that chorus, which I love how he exaggerates words, how he elongates words, you might say. Maybe not exaggerate, but he elongates words. And it's just his voice, he's so melodic, and I love that so much. And it's kind of insane to me, because I wanted to mention this too. Chris Difford, who wrote the lyrics for the track, has said that he was disappointed with his lyrics on this track, which again is wild to me, because I feel like it's just a perfect little heartbreaker. Maybe he wanted it to be more complex, I don't know, but I feel like it just worked so well in this way. I feel like it was just it was perfect, and Glenn took his words and just, you know, put the great emphasis on them. And yeah, I feel, you know, again, it's number 6 here anyway, and like I said, I could have had it at like number 2, but that would just be recency bias on my part, I feel like. But either way, Squeeze and Another Nail in My Heart, it had to be near the top anyway. Again, in the same kind of vein as like Up the Junction, which was one of my favorite songs from, I believe last year it was. But anyway, then we go on to number 5, Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas. I talked about Cherry Colored Funk as an honorable mention, but this one had to be on near the top of the list, I have to say. And I got to look at my words here. This song moved up while I was putting this together. Again, you know, I forget how good songs are until I come back and I'm like, oh my goodness, this song was better than I remember. I just can't deny its appeal and how much of an earworm that it is. And again, just throughout my day, going throughout the house, whatever, I would just be singing Heaven or Las Vegas. And again, it's just, we're talking about comparing two completely different places. And the band's doing it gorgeously, and Liz Fraser is singing it gorgeously, and I just love her emotion. Again, emotion is a word that I'm going to use so many times in this video, but again, no one sounds like Liz Fraser. Her voice, a soaring voice, a voice that can make you cry, make you happy, all that stuff, and it's beautiful. The echoing electric guitars here add so much to the song's atmospheric and airy sound as well. I was really writing great there, my goodness. And like I said, Liz sounds as great as ever, especially on that enigmatic chorus. My goodness, this is why I look at my words. I'm a great little wordsmith, I guess. And yeah, this is just a slice of dream pop heaven. And you talk about Heaven or Las Vegas, I don't know. Again, just so two completely different places. I don't know where they came up with the idea, but that's just, you know, the brilliance of Cocteau Twins. And yeah, that chorus, like I said, just stays in my head. It's an earworm, like I talked about. And anyway, there it is, number 5, Cocteau Twins, Heaven or Las Vegas. And every Cocteau Twins song I listen to, again, it's one of those that is going to be on the end of the year list. It's too good. Then we go on to number 4, another band who's been on the list before. It's The Replacements and Bastards of Young. From the opening the opening yell, I guess you would say, from Paul Westerberg. I knew this song was going to be great. I knew it was probably going to be on my end of year list. And again, he's one of the greatest vocalists I'll come across. I love his rawness. Is that a word? I love his gritty vocals. I love how real he is. There was real emotion there. There's nothing fake about him. I talked about Mark E. Smith not being fake. I don't feel like Paul Westerberg is fake at all either, with his emotion, with his passion, and what he talks about in songs. And as about here, he and the band are so good at explaining pain, futility, and alienation, specifically, at least on this track too. I talk about, with these lyrics being so personal in a way and so real too. You talk about, like, just to paraphrase a line where he talks about, the ones we love die, and the ones who don't love us we try to impress the most, or whatever. Again, it's so truthful and it's so sad. I mean, my goodness, you think about at work maybe or something like that, people don't really care about you, but you try your best, and these people don't care anyway. At the end of the day, your boss or whatever, maybe they do, but some people doesn't not matter, and you try to impress those people, and the people who you actually like die in the end. Again, it's just so bleak, and it's again so real, and it just hurts so much. But anyway, I also had to mention there was a great and I do believe I mentioned in the reaction too, but that guitar intro especially, and throughout the song you might say too, was kind of inspired by The Who. You can kind of feel that from the guitar work on the track anyway. But either way, I also wanted to mention the little video they did for this, and how it was kind of a fuck you nothing music video. Again, you just saw a speaker, and the song was playing, and I just love how they kind of, didn't give a crap, as they say. And anyway, that just, encapsulates the Replacements so well. So anyway, as I said, Paul Westerberg is one of my favorite vocalists of all time. So he had to be here, and there you go, Bastards of Young. Again, a song, that I've played at full blast in the car, and it's just a banger. Anyway, we go on to number 3, Ghost and Mary on a Cross. Now, this is probably, I would have to say, I believe, the most recent song that's been released. It was released in like 2018, I want to say, but that's on this list because most of these songs are old. But anyway, Ghost, Mary on a Cross. And as I put here, listening to the song while mowing the lawn next to a statue of Mary kind of makes the song hit even more. Again, from my work and what I do, and I mow the lawn, for the summertime. When you're listening to this and you actually, come close to a statue of Mary, it's very, it's real. It makes it even more real, and I like that a lot. Maybe that's why I like the song a lot. But love the quiet intro with the rolling drums, and then it quickly gets louder at that point. It goes on. The first word that comes to mind when I think about the song is colorful. Maybe that's just because of the cover of the, I can't remember if it was the album or just the single, but either way, colorful anyway. Love Tobias's soaring vocals on this track. He can shift on a dime. Again, great vocal range. I just love his voice so much. And again, he can shift his character on a dime. I mean, he's a great enigmatic character. He's a great front man, always keeps you on your heels and what he's going to do next. Anyway, he has a great range, as I said. Also love the double entendres here. That's beautiful. My goodness gracious. I will tickle you internally is a great line that I always remember. And again, it's a song I crank in the car, so that's always going to come into play. It's a song from like 2018, as I said. It sounds modern, but it also has kind of a classic sound to it, which maybe, again, just kind of puts it over the top and makes me like it even more. And again, it's a song that Ghost was always recommended to me by one of my friends, so finally got to that song anyway, and I liked it a lot. So more Ghost to come in 2025, but thanks to that specific friend. And here we are, the final 2, as sirens go behind me. It is New Year's Eve as I do this. So anyway, the final 2, I don't know why I'm making it to seem like a wrestling match or something, but at number 2, this is a song I did early in 2024. I do believe from January of the year. And it's a song that I knew was going to make this list. It was just too good not to. So it's McAlmont and Butler, and Yes. This is one of the most glorious, one of the most extravagant, beautiful tracks I've ever come across. Not just this year, but ever. I like the rock-like intro, as I put here in my notes. The rock-like intro with the drums especially. And how it quickly shifts into a beautiful atmosphere. I go back to the comment. Again, there was a critic, I don't remember who it was, but it's a comment that stays with me, and they said, when David McAlmont opens his mouth, a cathedral falls out. And again, he has such great vocals, a great vocal range. You talk about his soaring vocals, but it's a voice that can break glass. I mean, you talk about stuff like that. But when he goes high in the voice, you think he can't go any higher, and then he does. I mean, it's just a clear, voice. And I mean, again, he was at his peak here, I guess you might say, with his vocal chops, and he's just showing off at points too. And why not? His voice was just so good. Again, at this point, I mean, I haven't heard him today. Maybe it's still as good, but either way, I just love his vocals so much, and he can't be denied. Neither can Bernard Butler. But anyway, and I talk about too. The track is insanely positive, upbeat, peppy, sassy, and sassy. I gotta say, a line that comes to mind is "Yes, I do feel better," which is just a simple, line, but we're talking about, I believe, kind of like leaving a bad relationship or just a relationship anyway, and we're feeling a lot better. We're doing much better, and again, you just feel so happy and you feel so good, and you feel so good for David McAlmond, even though maybe it's not about him leaving a relationship or whatever, but it's just so happy. And I don't know how you can feel sad after listening to this. And anyway, and even in the fade out, it's just, he still sings his heart out, and it's just nuts. So anyway, it had to be a number 2 here, or at least near the top. But there was one song I liked more throughout the year, and this happens pretty much every time I've done this. There's always a number 1 that I know is going to be number 1. It stands out for me above the rest. And this year, it feels almost like a cop-out to put them at number 1 because they're one of the greatest bands of all time. But it's the Kinks, and it's Sunny Afternoon at number 1. I know a few Kinks songs, but I've never heard this one. And I'm surprised. I'm sad I never did until this year, because it's one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. Obviously, it's my number 1. But I talk about here the up and down melody with a catchy descending guitar. I mean, that grabs you right off the bat. I love the dejected attitude here. And when we talk about what the song's kind of about, a guy who's lost everything, but he's a scoundrel, so you don't really feel that bad for him. Now I can't remember if it was Ray or Dave Davies who said it, but he wrote it about an old guy who, again, had everything, had a lot of privilege, and then he lost everything. You talk about him losing his yacht, and you don't really feel that bad for this guy, because again, he had everything once. And if you're somebody who does not have what he had, then you feel like, well, it's about time you lost something. Good Lord. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, you don't really feel bad for the guy. But also, this was a kind of departure from their earlier stuff, but it obviously worked out well for them. Or worked out, maybe just for me anyway, worked out well for me anyway, because I liked it a lot. Then he goes on, he knew this was going to be my number 1. I just had to figure out the rest as I put there too. Because yeah, as I said, this top 10 really, you might be able to change it up a bit with where people are, but maybe not number 1 and 2. But either way, I knew the Kinks were going to be my number 1. Sunny Afternoon. Again, I just love summer. I go back to summertime from the Sundays, but I just love that joyous feeling. And there's not a joyous feeling to the song, but I just love how it's kind of almost tongue-in-cheek at points, or again, just how raw it is at points, talking about this guy who's lost everything, and how the Kinks are kind of, jabbing him for that. So anyway, there it is, the Kinks and Sunny Afternoon. Again, another song that I crank in the car, and that always comes back to me knowing that I really enjoy that song. So anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say. I feel like I gotta say more to, emphasize that this is my favorite song of the year. But yes, again, just I love the Kinks so much now, and more Kinks in 2025 for sure. So anyway, I guess that's all I gotta say. I don't know how long this video has been, because I took a couple of pauses. But either way, thanks for watching. If you're still here, good Lord. But yeah, thanks for everything throughout the whole year. Now, I released this on January 1st, so whatever. At this point, the year is done. But again, thank you for all the support. Thanks for watching. Again, I got the YouTube yearly thing. I get almost 400,000 views throughout the year. So I forget how many likes now, but again, 400,000 views is nuts to me. And yeah, it just, hopefully more to come in 2025, and more big things, and me not being as big, I'll tell you that much. So anyway, thanks for everything. Thanks for, again, all the support, liking, commenting, subscribing, as I always say, and I'll talk to you guys again soon, very soon. Yes.